contributed something that shifted.
We didn't just exist.
Right?
Like we weren't just like a small footnote in the book of our city, right?
And we had 10 people that we were their favorite preacher.
That's not what we're about.
That can't be why we made all these sacrifices.
But you hit the nail on the head when you talked about fellowship and coming together. What made the forefathers so great was their ability to shrink their ego and understand that they're stronger together.
Yeah.
And not only did Leo and Dante have a good relationship, but your membership and my membership had a good relationship.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, oh, I'm afraid that Leo gonna take some of my members or Dante gonna take some of my members. It's no legit. We got so much love for one another, and our churches have so much love for one another that we will pack out a bus, rent a van, and we all going to Christ Nation. We all jumping in this van. No service where we at, and vice versa. We coming over, and we're gonna fellowship together. We're gonna leave an offering. We're gonna talk. We're gonna laugh. All of that. I think that's what's missing right now. There's a big break. Where it's like, all right, you coming out to preach, or just me and such and such. Instead of the whole church coming to fellowship to show support. I think that's that's what's missing. And our forefathers, they did it at such a high level. That's why they were so effective in the city. And I thank God that you did that, because it was like, yo, he's right.
You gotta stick together, bro.
He's right, because we so busy like building brands and building whatever it is that we feel like we need to build.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. We ain't building nothing for real. I'm not saying us.
No.
I'm not saying us.
In totality.
I'm saying, like on a global scale, like there's a lot of people coming out with this, coming out with that. We're dropping content and products, and we're doing things and things that probably people that came before us have never even thought about doing. We're much more creative now. But when I say we ain't doing nothing, and again, I'm not talking about the two of us. When I say we ain't doing nothing, look at the spiritual climate of the church right now. It is not, I'm sorry, it is not getting better.
We're doing stuff, but we're not effective. It's not effective.
We're busy, but we're not effective.
We're busy,
and that
but not
scares
effective.
me. That scares me, because if that's the case, it's only going to get worse. If we just sat here and talked about 1995, 1996, all right?
That was our point of reference.
Yeah, it's 2025, right? Well, 2045, where we going to be at?
That's true.
And we can't rely on the fathers of today to fix the problems in 2045, because we're going to be it.
Yeah, they put their time in already.
And I realized, I got to the point where I realized, like, yo, dude, you are not going to be the solution. We're going to have to unify.
Community. I think we got to do away with all of the cliques. We got to do away with the cliques. We got to do away with the egos, and we got to actually sit down at the table and be like, yo, I need you. Like, you got something that I can't provide for people. You have something that I can't provide for people. Like, we need each other for the kingdom. And I'm not talking about like services.
You don't get Peter without Andrew.
Right. I'm not even talking about services like, oh, let's just have a service and let's just shout for 2 hours and then give an offering and then preach and prophesy to one another and then we go home. We've done that already, and the world is still in a bad condition. So obviously we're doing something wrong here. You know what I'm saying? We need more outreach. I remember R.W. Shambach. He used to run revivals, big tents. People walking off the street, coming in, getting healed, giving their lives over to God. Where's that at now? We indoors laying hands on each other, prophesying to one another. God gonna open up a door. God gonna make a way. God's gonna do this. All right, we get it. But what about the people that are out there dying? Like, the whole world is suffering.
I'm gonna go back to something you said before, right? You said that the forefathers were really good at taking their congregations and saying, we're going to support someone, Pastor so-and-so, right? So when you say R.W. Shambach did so-and-so, my uncle used to play for him, so I know what you're talking about, right? He was not a one-man show.
Not a one-man show.
It had his name on it, but there was a whole prayer team in a room downstairs praying that so-and-so would be healed. While revival was taking place, there were prayer warriors downstairs. That was Catherine Coleman's methodology that got passed to different people. So it was the culture of the church being involved. And today, I don't know that we really see the full church community involved in those endeavors.
Everybody wants to preach. Everybody wants to be the person, everybody the face. The bread. Hey, there you go. They want the bread, they want the face, they want the fame, they want the notoriety. And I said this before. Gone are the days where you had a strong deacon that was like the handyman that could fix everything in the church.
And that wanted
he
to.
drove the van and wanted to.
Yeah.
And not only fixed everything in the church, but he drove the church van.
Yeah.
He made sure the pastor was straight. Gone are the days where the sisters, they just love to be. God bless the Iron Sisters. God bless them.
Jesus.
God bless them.
Serve
They
all their lives.
served
All
as
their lives.
ushers their whole lives. And that was their calling. That was their gift. They didn't even think about preaching, pastoring. It was just like, this is what we're called to do, and this is what we're content in doing. And that's what made the church functionable, where people know their part, comfortable in their part, and not looking to overstep boundaries.
Maybe the absence of the real Spirit of God is the problem.
Yeah.
Because joy is a fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah.
And if you're going to bring up the Iron Sisters, Rosen and Irons, I saw joy in their servitude.
Absolutely.
Now, if we want to keep it a buck, I think a lot of us, and I don't know who said this the other day, I heard a preacher say this, but let's not stay there. I think a lot of us who are operating in our different gifts and different offices and different respective places, we've been robbed of our joy.
Why?
I'll speak for myself. I've been robbed of my joy, right?
But why? What? On a serious note, like what? And you're right. It's like almost like a burden to serve.
Yeah, correct.
It's like instead of just being happy.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? You think people make it that way? Like people are making it a burden? Like I'm not supposed to feel like I'm clocking in a 9 to 5 when I'm supposed to be doing this for happiness.
I disagree with you. I think it's not that you're not supposed to feel that way. I think it's we have to learn that even when we do feel that way, how do we still exude the fruit of the Spirit, which is joy? And I'm going to tell you why. Because if any man be my disciple, he must pick up his cross and follow me, which means you got a burden with your name on it.
Right.
Pick it up. You got a responsibility with your name on it. Pick it up. It ain't always gonna be fun.
Right.
It ain't always be. And I think that is where we have a problem. And I'm not saying you. That's where we have a problem in our generation. If it ain't fun, we don't want to do it. If it ain't convenient, we don't want to do it. If there isn't a benefit for me, and I think everybody has this "what's in it for me" attitude, which is why we won't come together and be ecumenical. We won't come together and partner and build a community of faith. As long as I have X subscribers on
hit the nail right on the head.
As long as I have that, because nobody really wants to suffer for Christ.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Right?
It's what I'm going.
It ain't sexy to suffer.
What am I going to get out of it?
But one of my favorite scriptures, right, is the suffering you are experiencing right now, enduring right now, is not worthy to be compared to the glory that will be. So I just believe that if I continue to suffer, because I'm gonna be honest with you, brother, we coming up on our 10-year mark. I've experienced suffering for real. Yeah. And I don't even know, sometimes I question like, God, how necessary is this? And God's response is always, stay the course. Stay the course.
That's like my grace is sufficient.
Just keep exactly. Exactly. Exactly, right?
Sufficient. Keep it going.
So now, right, how do guys like you and myself that are not in it for self-aggrandizement or growth or whatever, right? How do we then transfer that to and I hate to say the word generation, right? How do we just transfer that to everybody that's a part of the house of God?
I think people are looking for it. I just think that we have not done our due diligence in making it more visible.
Okay.
I think because people want to change, and they need to see that there's a change, and they're looking for it, because there's a lot of people that are frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of this. But they don't have an avenue or an alternative.
Yeah.
To say, okay, oh, that's different, or let me get along with them, or let me get along with them. And it's not a clique. It's not a crew. It's us legitimately going after the things of God with a pure heart and pure intentions. Yeah. And there are a lot of people out there that are like me and you and others, but they don't have the alternative. They don't know, oh, that's a thing? Yeah. Let me go and pursue after that. Yeah. We haven't done a good job of making it visible. Yeah. And creating spaces and atmospheres where people can come out and be a part of those type of conversations and those meetings. Gotta do a better job.
100, but it's hard to be special. Especially when we, the community, glorify one thing, whether it's right or wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm gonna be very careful now because the camera is on or whatever.
But just say what you want to say. Oh, well, it's all good.
If I can say what I want to say, then okay. what we glorify, what gets FaceTime, what gets airtime, what gets ear time is what is titillating, right?
Right.
So all we see is shout clips.
We gotta stop that.
Crazy preaching clips or whatever. And
stop.
no disrespect to anyone, half your favorite preaching clips, what are they actually saying?
We gotta stop that.
I'm just now I sound like a hater. I sound like a hater.
No, you're not even a hater. You're not a hater. It's legit. No. It's legit. You're not a hater. You're not a hater. It's the reality of where we are. That we're so focused on the click track, and we run to get to the shout
performance
and the performance and the pomp and circumstance when it's like there's no substance. You know when there's substance behind something? When you can see a person growing, incremental growth based upon the preaching that they're hearing and the atmosphere that they're around. If you can shout for 7 hours and then go home and do the same thing that you did before you came to church, that's a problem.
Well, I'm sorry, Dante. My problem with this is for the churches where substance is being preached without a Showtime presentation, because I have no problems with a praise.
Right,
None.
nothing.
Right?
This is not even about praise and dancing and shouting. This is not whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's about substance.
It's about substance, right? So take the average church where substance is being preached, right? You usually don't see those ministries explode, right? If you do, there was a long lead where they were under the radar for mad long, and then boom. Because what happens is, right, if it doesn't sound right, if it doesn't look right, I'm gonna hang out over here where I'm entertained until you begin to look like you're a success.
I'm gonna do you one better. Those ministries that really run after the click track, they only seem to be successful in the realm of the church babies. Think about it.
Yeah.
These people who don't know nothing about God don't want to sit in church for 3 hours and just dancing and shouting, right? It's popular with the last of the Mohegans with the church babies that came up. We came up in it, so we understand it. But the new ones that are coming in, they not. Why are we doing this?
My whole church.
There you go.
So if I walk,
you see what I'm saying?
I walk into the church and I feel something. My feet start.
Right. Do you see what I'm saying?
You know,
it's only popular with the last generation of the church babies. So they not.
Let me give you this illustration because you just said something that inspired me. Now, let me give you this. So we know in the Bible, the place and the center of worship was the temple.
Correct.
So in the construct of the temple, you had the outer court, you had the inner court, and the holies of holies, right? Outer court, city gate, temple gate, outer court, inner court, holies of holies. Now, if we quantify the amount of people in each space, each space
I see where you're going.
included less people.
I see where you're going.
So you have at the gate, there's a multitude. Then you have the outer court, right?
That's good.
There's a multitude. Then you have the inner court. There's not so much of a multitude, but the holies of holies was reserved for only now.
Correct.
You have to understand that the Levites were everybody who served in the temple complex, right? It wasn't just the chief apostle, right? Or the chief priest that was welcome into the holies of holies. There was a servant in every space, right? So if we equate those servants to preachers and pastors, there's a pastor for the gate, there's a pastor for the outer court, there's a pastor for the inner court, and there's a pastor for the holies of holies, which means that the message that is being preached in the holies of holies is on a deeper level.
Correct.
And at a higher point of revelation than what is being said, preached, shared, served
at the gate.
At the gate, right? So the problem is more people can digest the gate message
and not the holies
rather
of
than the
holies.
holies of holies.
That's
But
good.
the problem is the power and the presence of God is in the holies of holies. So now we have these differences in ministries. And I'm not saying that one pastor, one preacher is better than the other or less than the other.
It's something for
They're all
everybody.
needed.
Right.
But when do you graduate from the gate?
That's true.
Evidently, you're at the temple because you have a sacrifice that needs to be offered in the holies of holies.
That's a message. Graduate from the gate.
I'm not just hit. You can have that.
No, you got it. I'm
got
not
it.
taking that. That was a good one. That was good.
Evidently, I'm at the temple.
Right.
I'm at the temple because I have a need. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing that scares me, right? In the temple, we saw people, in the scripture, we saw people go to the temple because they had a need. Right. Hannah had a need. And when her need was met, she went back to the temple.
Yeah.
We don't see it like that now.
We don't see it like that.
The culture's different.
Culture's way different. And I think we have to do a better job of translating the message.
Yeah.
And not just translating the message, live the message.
Yeah.
Because people are going to watch your life. They're going to watch how you move. They're going to see how you treat your wife.
Yeah.
They may never say it.
Yeah.
And this is something that we have to understand. And social media has proven this to us based upon the views, right? You could have, and I don't care about the views and the likes, whatever like that, but you could have 10 likes and 100 or 400 views. That means there's more people who viewed what you did instead of someone leaving an actual fingerprint that they actually saw what you did.
Oh, yeah.
So there are people.
Jesus saw that too.
There you go.
Fed 4,000, fed 5,000. And that's only a count of the men.
Only a count of the men.
But only had 12 disciples?
Only 12 disciples.
Commissioned 70, but there's only 12?
There you go. That's what I'm saying. People will view it. They'll watch it. Yeah. And there's people that will watch what you do, how you treat your wife, how you pursue a ministry, may even take some ideas and things that you've done and implement it in their stuff.
No comment.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They will never come back and say, hey, man, I got that from you. But it's okay, right? It is what it is.
Yeah.
But they will view it. And what we need to do is be consistent in our presentation. And I'm not talking about just having a presentation so people can watch us. And I'm talking about got to be real and authentic. So that people can see the difference and see the change. And that's what's essential. We have to understand that we have to be the change that we would like to see throughout our generation. Because there's a lot of young men our age that we're coming up. We're the next generation that's coming up.
You just said something that I think sparked a series of conversations that we need to have. Because you just said, how do we convert the viewer to a subscriber? Now that's marketing talk, right? We know we have all these viewers, but I'm not paid for, I'm paid for this. Well, if we put that in kingdom context, right? We know there's a lot of people that know about the church, that have been in the church. They're viewers. How do we convert the viewer to make them a disciple or a subscriber, right? Go. And so let's start with the hardest group, the men. Let's start there.
I think when we display masculinity, and this is not, and we're not going to.
I think we need to make up our own fruit.
When we start displaying masculinity, and I'm not talking about, and the world is so shrewd. They're very shrewd with the whole toxic masculinity thing. They just utilize these. I mean, when masculinity comes back, or is at the forefront in the church, it would draw more men into the church. Yeah. Because men on the outside are looking at men on the inside and saying, well, they're too feminine, or well, they don't display a certain presentation of being strong. I remember back in the day, you had the deacons, strong deacons. Like what? They look like they had hands. They had hands callous. You know what I'm saying? They look like they could slap fire to somebody. You know what I'm saying? It was like the deacons were like strong men, you know what I'm saying? The elders of the church were like strong men that you was afraid of, like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't want to get in trouble. But now it's like the men have gotten a little too soft, dainty. They're too dainty. There's almost
not present at all.
Not present at all. But that's what I'm saying. They leave him because of what they see is not making them comfortable. A heterosexual man is not comfortable.
So we just need to go on ahead and throw a men's conference and then just
I don't mind it. And I think it will work out. But the flip side of it is to men who are dealing with a level of femininity, lack of a better term.
It's about to go down the road.
I'm just saying. It has to be, you can't be offended by the correction.
Well, that's everybody.
You can't be offended by the correction. If you are struggling, it's different, right? If that's who you are, that's who you are. I'm not saying, hey, you need to take them fingernails off, or you need to stop wearing them tight pants and you need to stop shaking your behind. It's like, if that's who you are,
Yeah.
and that's who you're expressively being, that's one thing. But if you're struggling and you're trying to get through it and you're trying to navigate because of traumatic experiences and things that have happened to you, and it's
totally
difficult,
different.
right? So if I'm coming to you and say, okay, let's walk this thing through, right? We're gonna walk this thing through, because that's a subject that the church is really quiet on. We got wonderful teachers
quiet on a lot of things.
We do wonderful things with couples and singles, but when it comes to like homosexuality and
Let's skip a few chapters. How do you restore somebody?
there you go. That's another thing.
Ye who are spiritual must
Yes.
restore.
Yeah.
How do we restore somebody?
Yeah, that's another thing that we
Right?
have a lot of trouble with.
But we can't even have those deep conversations right now about how we do those, because we got the surface issues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can wrap a bow in it with this, and this is related to something you said earlier. At the end of the day, we who are called to do ministry, and this is just my resolve.
Yeah, yeah.
Me, you, and I include Drew,
Yeah.
right? And our other brothers, K-Sean,
Yeah.
Kenny. I know you got some brothers as well.
Yeah, shout out.
right?
You doing shout outs? You calling
Yeah,
names.
I have to.
Golly,
I have to.
We got
Because I
Overseer
want to see
Nelson,
these dudes
we
50
got,
years from now. Nelson's the Pope.
Pope Nelson.
He the Pope. He here. We here.
We got what's my guy
You
name?
here.
Bishop Stockton. That's my guy, man. Bishop Pastor McKee out in Brooklyn.
Joe
That's
Thompson.
You got guys, man. You got Bishop Bradley. Those guys, man. Those phenomenal guys that are.
We gotta come together.
We got to come together.
We gotta come together.
gotta
I'm gonna
come
tell you why. This is where I was going with it. Somebody's gotta model it, and
Shout out to Pastor David Mack too, man. Shout out to him.
shout out to you. I want to meet him one day. I never met him before.
Nah, Mac,
you know
cool,
everybody.
bro.
I want to meet some people.
I don't know
man.
nobody. I just be at home in my bed sleep, man.
You need to record all the convention talk.
Let me sleep,
at the-
man.
at the-
Let me sleep. I'm telling
At the Dre Rumble.
Dre Rumble, shout out to
Right?
Dre. I just seen him today. I told him,
Right?
I'm like, yo, I'm proud of you, bro. I just seen him today. I'm like,
know
yo,
too
I'm
many
proud of you. I
people.
love you,
You
man.
know too many
For real talk.
We got to model it. And this is my philosophy in my church. Number one, I don't deal with things over the pulpit, like problems over the pulpit.
Yeah, that's
if God
right.
gives me a message,
Yeah.
I'm teaching it. Now, if I believe that the word of God is powerful, then it is powerful enough to correct even on its own, right? So I don't stand up and y'all women need to stop wearing red lipstick, even though that worked 60 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
you can't do that now.
So I give you the word, and the word convicts on its own. And that has worked
Yeah.
in our house, for the most part. And then I try my best to model what I want to see in the church, right?
Yeah.
So I'm worn out, I'm exhausted all the time because I'm a father. Well, I want to see other fathers.
And your husband too.
Yeah, that I was going there.
My bad.
And you
Go
know
ahead.
you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about, right? We need more examples. So the young kid that comes up that didn't have a father, that didn't have an uncle there, that didn't have a mentor, and he's growing up and he's looking for a model, and there aren't many.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. How many of us are there today, whereas growing up, there was a whole lot of us.
Whole lot.
In one church.
I just think it's not as visible.
Yo, this was
I think
my.
it's not as
I know
visible.
we gotta kill it, bro. But
Yeah.
now I'm amped and I
No,
gotta show
but
you my
it's all
example.
good. Go ahead, do your thing.
I grew up in a church, very large church, but you could not walk into the church without walking past a whole back few rows of men. I learned later on in life those men were security. They were
okay.
loaded, all of that. But they were the deacons. They were the ushers. They were a lot of different roles. They went to the church, but you could not walk into the church without going through men. That is a powerful concept in itself. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing was they used to have men's retreats and
Yeah.
things like that. And I will never forget
That
my
was
boy
fortified.
Josh Hazard, Vanessa Hazard, Steve Hazard's father,
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Steve, God rest his soul. He told my mother, looked my mother square in the face and said, he coming with us. He told my mother I was going. Didn't ask her, was it okay? Did you have anything going on? We paid for him to go. He with us. Can I tell you, those weekends changed my life.
And you know what's so sad right now? That if somebody comes
Oh,
now,
now.
it's like,
now.
wait, what? What?
Now, who gonna be there?
Who gonna be there? And y'all gonna do what? And it's like, no, ain't nobody touching my son. Come on. You see what I'm saying?
But there's a 50-50 chance now.
That it may happen. Not even 50-50. It's more like 70-30. You know what I'm saying? It's
I was trying to be
no,
fair.
It's no. No, I'm telling you, it's a bad thing.
Think about it. Your son is 15.
Yeah.
And a random brother in the church comes and tells your wife,
Right.
he going?
Yeah. No, he ain't going. Nah. Where's that? I come too. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
I'm gonna ride him up there. We gonna
There
see
you
what y'all
go.
doing
And
for
see
a
what's
little while.
going on. I gotta figure out who's who, see what's
As you
going
should,
on.
as a good father.
Right, there you go.
As a good father. My father wasn't there, so
Right.
there was not a man. Because think about it, it would
No,
be
but that's
wild.
acceptable at that time.
But
Because
it would have
it's
been
like
a little
the-
wild even if my father was there.
Right, but
You
I'm
know what
talking
saying?
about like right now in this climate, with the level of foolery in leadership
And sensitivity,
and sensitivity,
right?
it's just a lot. I'm telling you, none of us are perfect, but we have a line that we just know that we will never cross or we cannot cross.
Yeah.
There's, and I'm gonna say this before, there's people that are in leadership, men, and I'm gonna say this, and the thoughts and views of Dante Monteson is not the thoughts and views of Leo Carter, right? I just want everybody to know that. It's not.
He didn't say
that
anything
disclaimer,
anti-Semitic.
right? That disclaimer, I need to put it out there. There are people in different cities that have individuals that call themselves fathers and leaders that take advantage of the men or the young boys growing up in the ministry
Young men, young seeds.
that causes them to be broken
Yeah.
and confused and take advantage.
Yep.
And then the second problem is that there are people who know what's going on, refuse to address it, overlook it, and cause even more damage possible to
And
more young men that's
cover-
coming. And cover it up.
And cover it up.
Y'all know, no. Y'all know, and that's the thoughts and views of me is not the thoughts and views of
No.
Leo
Go
Carter.
ahead. Let the Lord use you. Doc.
There's people out there, men out there, bishops out there, who are in men's DMs, young men's
100.
DMs,
100.
talking all kind of foolery, talking all kind of nonsense,
100.
right? Very inappropriate conversations
Ooh, this is
from
going
an
somewhere.
older man to a younger man, especially these younger men that are looking up to you, bishops and pastors and elders, that they love the way you preach. They love how you are, how great of an administrator you are, how great of an organizer you are. But then you use that and you try to prey on it and take advantage of it. And then when it's brought to your attention, you are oblivious to it. And then you got people that surround you who know you doing it.
Yep.
And it ain't even men taking advantage of the young men. It's men taking advantage of the girls.
All
There's
that.
older women taking advantage of younger women. It happens
younger
across
men.
the board. And if we want the church to grow, and if we want men to come back, and if we want the church to be fully functional, we need the people who know that the people that you're close to, we need the bishops who are close with the other bishops that are reaching out and touching little boys and messing with little boys and inboxing little boys. We need you to hold them accountable.
So
Hold them accountable.
you know I've gone through that same scenario. You know
There
that
you
happened
go.
to me.
Absolutely.
You know that happened to me.
And for everybody who know it happened to them, you should have said something.
So most people don't. But I was told by senior leadership, don't bother because they will cover him. Right? They will cut, and I was
So
like, wait a minute.
so let that happen to more little boys, right? Let it just
that
go
were
on
not
and diminish.
stable enough to know
Correct.
I'm a heterosexual man.
Right. Right.
To somebody, because the way it was done so smoothly to the point where you could tell this person had done it before. And I was told, don't mess with them. He's a part of a camp. They're going to cover him.
That's not.
So
We're not doing that this year.
So we're not doing that, period.
Period.
Right?
At all.
But remember, I keep going back to why I hit you and Drew up, right? What if God is allowing the wheat to grow with the tares?
Yeah.
Which means we gotta, man, it's gonna sound so bad. We gotta outlive.
It at the end of the day.
Because there's a reason why we're here.
Correct.
There's a
Correct.
reason why we're
Correct.
here. And I think that by the end of our lives, the small group of us, be it small, will be able to look back and say, we were able to bring back the sanctity. We were able to bring back the reverence.
We were able to
and
bring
the
back
strength.
holiness, reverence, honor, respect.
So it means we may have to outlive some of the powers.
Right, and
it's gonna sound bad.
not even out. Sometimes it's not even always about outliving. It's about being such an example where people can know the difference between righteous and unrighteous. And we're not saying we're the greatest morally and righteous, that we do no wrong, and nobody's saying that. What I am saying is that we know that there are deficiencies that are causing the body, not the body of Christ, the system of church to take a step back. And it's causing problems and causing issues where the world is at stake. We're talking about
Lives.
globally,
Lives.
nationally,
Lives.
souls that Christ died for being impacted because of an individual's inability to kill their flesh.
So let's, because we got to go.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of stuff to do. My bad.
No. I love this, right? But the director's telling us, So the reason why I said outgrow is because in the scripture, we know that the anointing and the oil left Saul.
Yeah.
But Saul stayed in the seat.
Yeah.
Did the people know? Did the people know that the oil left Saul and the oil was on David? Did the people know? The day that David was anointed at Jesse's house, I didn't know there was an audience there.
No, there was
right?
no audience.
So what I'm saying to you is there's a lot of people in red garments. There's a lot of people in fuchsia garments. The Roman purple. Right? The English blue purple. Right? Wearing green and gold cords or gold cords. See, I know the product. I know what it is. Right? There's a lot of people in this stuff that I think the spirit has left. And they're still in the seat. And I think God is not fighting. It's like stay in the seat until you die. And the reason why I say that is look at Samson. Right? One of the scariest scriptures in the Bible, Samson is about Samson when he broke his covenant with the Lord. And the Bible says, and he did not know that the Lord had left him. So then he tried to go do what he was used to doing, and it was ineffective, right?
Yeah.
So now we have a lot of Samsons that didn't know the Lord left them. And the problem is, now what they're doing is ineffective, and the people see that what they're doing is ineffective. They're leaving, and they're putting us in the same class.
Yeah.
But this sounds so bad.
Yeah.
This
They're
sounds
putting
so
us
bad.
all in the same class. Because somebody had put up a post. My brother sent it to me yesterday, and the lady was like, because for my anniversary, me and my wife, we took a picture with our fur coats on, whatever like that, right?
Why you had to mention the fur coat?
I'm just saying, we just took a picture, bro.
we
It was just we just took a picture. It wasn't even that
now
crazy.
I gotta go buy my wife a fur coat.
Hey, call me. Tell him to call me. We gonna go pick you out a nice one, right? But so she put up a post about us wearing a fur coat and how we should be focused more on like ministry and focus more. And I'm like, we do ministry.
Oh yeah.
The whole week.
Oh, yeah.
We just took one picture, like.
Oh yeah.
But I get
who
it.
said that?
Some random person, bro. I don't even know her like
We'll pray
that.
for him.
Right, but I'm just saying.
We'll close this program
But
out with a prayer for
right. But it just, and we got to go on this note. But it just goes to show you that you get put in a category with everybody else because of whatever they saw. And it's like I get it, and whether we like it or not, we're gonna have to take the lumps and the bruises for the mistakes of other people.
We have to.
It just comes with the territory.
And I think that's why this post is so powerful. I saw this online, and it was very. I know you saw this. It was, we have confused the sound of preaching with sound of preaching.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of people that just can't tell between the two.
You can't.
So we will suffer until. Right, we will suffer with Christ, in Christ, for Christ, until the Lord allows for there to be a clear delineation, and then I believe we're gonna see revival.
Yeah. Are we talking about? And we gotta go. But are we talking? Is this a city issue, or is this
no?
No.
I pastor outside the city. No.
I just want to make sure that it's clear because people would think that we just talking about the city, New York. We talking about at the system of church as it pertains to
this is
everything.
Society. This is the age that we're in.
Right.
Yeah. This is the age we're in.
Yeah.
Right. And make no mistake about it, all of us are also marketplace professionals.
Yeah.
And so God is not going to allow us to forget the people because we're with them every day.
Every day.
Right.
That's true.
This is gonna sound bad. The former generation, all they did was
Dang, yo, Leo is just burying. He just burying them.
Just saying, you got employees.
No. But I get what he's saying because we're in the marketplace. We're with the people all the time. We're in it. We're around it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We have a profession.
Yeah.
Outside of the church. Previous generation, that's all they had. They could go to the church 5 times out the week.
Yeah.
Clean it up. Make sure it's good. Pass
My
out
God,
tracks.
we gotta talk. We gotta talk about that in the next one too, because we have limitations in ministry now that are not allowing us to be able to do things the way that
we're even though it says full-time ministry, but it's really like part-time ministry.
Listen, the director's saying we gotta roll.
We gotta roll.
Listen,
This was super impromptu though.
Thank you for pulling up to Saved and Saved Her.
Don't even do that. Don't do that. Thank you. What's your YouTube thing?
The Pastor Leo.
The Pastor Leo. That's going to be
we're releasing next month. So
Pastor
if you're
Leo.
seeing this, we've already released it. So
it's already released it. Thank you for pulling up to the Lifeline podcast.
100%.
We appreciate you for coming out. God bless. Have a good one.
Hey, it's your girl Wit. Thank you so much for tuning into the Lifeline podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.